Hey there guys, what is going on? The Vanguard beta is finally over and we are jumping straight back into the Season 5 Reloaded Cold War content. Season 6 is right around the corner, so we are taking a look at the top 5 fastest killing weapons in Cold War Season 5. This is a lot of fun. These are some of the best weapons in the game. You want to kill people as fast as possible, and that is the list we are presenting today. Just before we do get into it here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on if you've not already done so. It's a massive boost for me. I really do appreciate when I see that number go up. Knows that community is growing, is absolutely massive. So let's talk about the top 5 fastest killing weapons in Cold War here. This is almost like a top 6 or top 7 list depending on how you do want to consider this. The first weapon that we do have here is still the Tec-9. This thing does still have in the automatic variety a 3-shot kill if you are landing a headshot, which is the balance change that I recommended they make, and it still makes the Tec-9 a very powerful weapon in this game. If you are getting that 3-shot kill with that headshot included, the TTK is basically the same as it was before. If you're getting that 4-shot kill, which is just straight body shots, it is a little slower, but if you are still getting that headshot, it's ridiculously fast. Also, you can consider the burst fire weapon or the burst fire mod on this thing to still be very, very powerful. It's very, very similar to the KSP. It does feature a TTK of about 220 milliseconds if you get that one burst kill. Again, very, very strong. Our attachments for this thing do look like this. As I said, you can switch between the burst fire repeater and the full auto repeater depending on how you do want to play. If you want to get that 3-shot kill with that 150 millisecond headshot TTK, the full auto repeater is definitely for you. But if you just like that burst fire, one bursting people is definitely for you. The burst fire repeater is something that you can go with here. In the barrel slot for both of the varieties here, we just take the task force barrel because it does increase our damage, allowing us to get that 3-shot kill. Again, if you are getting that headshot or if you just have the burst fire mod, this is the barrel that you always want to go with because it does give us the most damage, most range, and most bullet velocity. Then we have the underbarrel here. We have the field agent grip, but this sort of depends on whether you are running the full auto. This is the grip that I would recommend for the full auto, and then something like a foregrip or even like a patrol grip or a bruiser grip if you are running the burst fire. Then in the magazine slot, this is only for the fully auto variety. If we do want 39 rounds in the magazine, this is a very, very nice option. I don't usually run a magazine on the burst fire mod though, so we can switch that out. We take the handle, airborne, elastic wrap, or the serpent wrap depending on how much aim down sight speed you think you need. And if you aren't taking a magazine attachment for the burst fire thing, you can just grab a Raider stock as well for more sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed. So as I said, 2 varieties of Tec-9 there are both very, very powerful in the game. At the moment, we move on to our next weapon, which is one of the most recently buffed weapons in the game, which is the PPSH-41, the PPSH, one of my absolute favorite weapons. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing if this thing is going to be in the new COD Vanguard. Very, very exciting stuff here. So again, this does feature a very fast TTK in this game, up close at about 264 milliseconds, which did get buffed with the task force barrel. Can be a little bit tricky in terms of that recoil, but it basically does just take a couple of games to learn how to control this thing. Again, our attachments do change a little bit depending on how we do want to play. In the muzzle slot, you can take one of 2 options here for the GRU suppressor for the muzzle flash concealment. I love suppressed weapons and not appearing on the minimap. Basically allows us to live for longer. Or you can take the most amount of recoil control here in 17% from the KGB eliminator. This is up to you. Then we do have the barrel. As I said, the task force barrel does give us that 5-shot kill. 264 millisecond TTK at 30 damage per bullet is a 5-shot kill. As I said, a really, really important attachment to make this thing as powerful as it can be. Then we have the underbarrel because, as I said, this thing is a little bouncy, does take some practice to control that recoil. Spetsnaz grip does help keep us on target here at 8% vertical and 22% horizontal. Then we move to the magazine. Always want to run that 55-round drum mag. You can see the 71-round drum mag there as well, but that's too many bullets for an SMG, and it makes our aim down sight speed really slow as well, so try and avoid that. 55 rounds is enough here. And then we do round this off with just a serpent wrap for 25% increase to our aim down sight speed. The GRU elastic wrap is not necessary here as we haven't reduced our aim down sight speed with our magazine. So again, if you've not tried the PPSH recently, this is a fantastic weapon to run around with. A little bit trickier than some of the other weapons in the game, but there's value in actually having a weapon that is hard to control. No recoil is not for everyone. Then we do have something a little different that you're probably expecting to see on this list. This is the AK74u. Absolute fan favorite. Does kill people absolutely lightning fast. If you are getting a 3-shot kill, very, very similar to the Tec-9. You need a couple of headshots in the mix there, but you are getting about 150 milliseconds worth of TTK up close if you are getting that 3-shot kill, which is caused mostly by the task force barrel. Again, this does take our damage numbers, allowing us to get that 3-shot kill. If we do get a couple of headshots here, a really, really effective weapon. Just absolutely deletes people. With a game with an average TTK of about 300 milliseconds, basically halving that is ridiculous here. Then again, the muzzle, we do have that Spetsnaz compensator for 12% vertical recoil control. We do have the underbarrel, foregrip, just 18% horizontal recoil control is a nice attachment with no negatives. Then we have the handle, serpent wrap again, 25% aim down sight speed increase is just really, really nice here because we don't run a magazine. And then the stock, of course, the KGB skeletal variety for sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed. Again, I'm sure you've been killed by this so many times, you've used this to no end in this game. The AK74u will still always be one of the best weapons in the game, mostly just because it does delete people up close. Then we've got something that you were probably expecting to see on this list very, very early here, and that is the EM2. I really just think this is still the best assault rifle easily in the game, just because it does feature about a 230-ish millisecond TTK value, which is just... that's too fast in this game still. They did even nerf it with the task force barrel, make that fire rate even slower, but still, it's too strong. The attachments on this thing are very, very versatile here. You can play close range, long range, medium range, however you want to play here. This is sort of a middle of the road build. We're actually not taking an optic here, we're just going with the stock sight. Have that muzzle for the suppressor here to stay off the minimap. This basically does allow us to live for longer, as good players do hunt down unsuppressed weapons. Then the barrel, you need the task force one for more damage, getting us that 3-shot kill. Then the underbarrel, we do have the SFOD speed grip here. As I said, we do like to sort of combine our class setups a little bit here to be a little bit more aggressive. And the sprinting movement speed from this thing, as well as a nice amount of recoil control, does allow us to do that. Then we do have the magazine. We want more bullets with this thing. I think it has 20 rounds in the mag by default, so doubling that to 40 is a nice boost. And because we are reducing our aim down sight speed with this magazine, we're just taking the airborne elastigrap to 30% aim down sight speed and a little flinch resistance, and we can drop shot people. I don't do that super lots anymore, but it's still a valuable option. Then we do have one of the newer weapons again on this list, the Great Emperor FFAR1. This thing did receive another buff recently to give it a very, very similar TTK value to the PPSH. Again, 264 millisecond-ish. It take a few milliseconds there if you are getting those kills, man. This thing absolutely shreds people. Again, the recoil on this thing is not ideal. It's a very, very similar weapon to the PPSH, actually. You do have to play it in very, very similar ways, up close, get nice and close to people, and just shred them down, which is a lot of fun here. If you haven't checked out a video we made the other day on this thing, this is one of the best weapons in the game. We actually dropped a nuke in the gameplay, so go check out that video. Again, the class setup that we do have here, again, a bit of variety in the attachments. SOCOM Eliminator, Agency Suppressor, depends on how you do want to play. You can even take a suppressor if you prefer that. Then the barrel, we do actually have the Reinforced Heavy for the increase to our range and bullet velocity. Our damage range with this thing is only about 15 meters, so again, you do have to play this like an SMG. You can take a Ranger or a takedown barrel as well if you want to extend bullet velocity or effective damage range. The underbarrel, again, with that recoil, we just want to hit as many bullets as possible here, so the field agent grip does make us a little bit slower in terms of that shooting movement speed, but 6% vertical and 16% horizontal recoil is basically just too much to pass up here. Then the magazine, we don't want to reduce our aim down sight speed too much as we aren't taking a handle attachment, so 38 rounds in the mag is basically enough to get us by here. And then we round this off with the Raider stock as well for sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed. Just before we go here, we're going to shout out an honourable mention here to the KSP-45. As I mentioned already with the Tec-9, this is a very, very similar weapon to the KSP when you do have that burst fire mod on. You get a TTK value of, again, 220 milliseconds if you are getting that one burst kill. These are very, very similar weapons, and it felt a little bit weird to feature both of them on the list when they do very, very similar things. But if you like your KSP, man, you don't like the Tec-9, you like your KSP, just run a sound suppressor on that thing for, of course, the sound suppression. You want the task force barrel to do the most damage here, the underbarrel, the front grip just to give us horizontal recoil control, the serpent wrap for 25% aim down sight speed, and the Raider stock for those aim walking movement speed and sprint to fire speed stats. So those are the 5, 6, 7, depending on how you do want to classify this video, the fastest killing weapons in Cold War Season 5 Reloaded. Season 6 is right around the corner, man. It's definitely not too far away. As we look at the battle pass, it's what, 14 days, 2 weeks away, so we're going to start seeing more information about that, and I cannot wait. So again, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye!